London, a vibrant city often known for its tourist sites, royal family, and more. But now more than ever, there's a new sound emerging from its underground, and it's taking over.
It's like the epitome of authenticity.
Our music is our sound. It's anger.
Just rough sounds.
Iconic.
Bassy, synth bass.
Legendary. Representing London youth culture.
What is it, you ask? This is Grime. Born and bred in the boroughs of East London in the early 2000s, grime has become a genre that can no longer be ignored. I am on a mission to find out more. What is grime? Where did it come from? Where could it be going? I went to speak to several people all involved in the grime industry and who all have a very different perspective and story to tell on it. First off, Romeo, a Lewisham-based MC.
Grime is tracksuits. It's wearing tracksuits, eating chicken and chips, sitting on the block, spraying a few bars with your friends. It's more than just a genre, it's a culture.
Ghostly, a West London-based grime MC who's been in the scene for a while now, has a different take on it.
I got into grime in the beginning, like when it was Gary. Grime's a lot of different things, man. Yeah, hard, kind of aggressive kind of sounding music.
Aggressive, a term that has been used to describe grime on numerous occasions. In 2006, Prime Minister David Cameron accused grime musicians of promoting violence, stating that young, impressionable people are given the message song after song that guns, knives, and other weapons are glamorous. But is this a fair statement?
It doesn't promote violence, but there is violent lyrics. It's weird, isn't it? It's lyrics. Lyrics are like, there's some wild lyrics out there. So like, I can't say nah, I don't, but it's just music.
I disagree. There's a lot of music in England that are not from grime, the grime era or the grime scene, that do promote sexualizing women, police brutality, all of that. You have heavy metal, some garage tracks, although that grime did derive from garage. However, it's not just grime that does say these things, because grime is more of a genre that it's an expression of what we feel. Like if we feel like saying, forget police, police, we'll say it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's lawless. It has no rules.
Took time, but they clocked him.
Jimmy Davis, a Birmingham-based grime MC, thinks otherwise.
There's still a lot of anger in it now, and there's still a lot of lyrics that are associated with criminality, gang culture.
So what was grime like then compared to now?
Grime wasn't safe. Grime's kind of safe now. Grime wasn't safe then.
Now, we've heard from a grime rapper and heard their perspective, but how about those who are behind the camera, behind the scenes? I made my way to Shoreditch to speak to Hattie Collins, author of This Is Grime, a book that followed and documented all those who were in the grime scene in detail.
So I actually got into grime through my mate, Chantal Biddy, who's another journalist, and we worked at a magazine called Touch, and she played me a white label of Dizzy Rascal's I Love You. And I was like, oh my god, that is horrible, like what? I was listening to 50 Cent, I'm listening to Cameron, it's all like, you know, that kind of period was like Ja Rule, very melodic, very like easy to listen to. I just thought it was disgusting noise, I was like, oh, that's horrible. And then about a week later I was like, oh, maybe that tune again? And then I was like, I don't know what happened. I just remember thinking this is like the most extraordinary thing I've ever heard. I just loved the energy, that's what I was reacting to. I loved the wordplay and I loved what they said, and I liked, especially when it was more political. I think what's great about grime for me is that I've been able to live through the culture as it's emerged and as it's shifted and changed in a way that, you know, kids in the Bronx did in New York. How exciting. So for me it's awesome because I've actually got to live through its development.
So what does she think about grime and violence?
It's a sort of catch-22 because you want us to relate to people that you're talking to from the places that you're from. I don't think grime is particularly misogynist, and I don't think it doesn't promote gang culture. I think there's perhaps you could aim that criticism more at UK rap and UK hip hop, which can be, as much again as I like that music, can be a lot darker. So of course I have to talk about these things, because what I'm going to talk about, can't pretend that these things don't happen, can you?
Now, how did grime all come about? Who are the pioneers? Who is the godfather of grime?
Wiley.
Wiley.
Esky boy in the building.
Wiley's the pioneer, the main pioneer of the sound.
He's the guy that was like, you know what, garage music doesn't want us, cool, we'll make our own thing. But if you talk about Wiley, you can't forget about Slimzy, Genius, DJ Target, Danny Weed, Dizzy Rascal, Nick Denton. I mean, it kind of spreads out now and now. But let's take those, I'll go with those four, the first four that I mentioned. Just because I think you had Genius, who was like basically, he was a DJ as well, but and a producer, but he basically brought everybody into Rinse FM, which was a huge part of how grime came to be. You have Slimzy, who was a producer that started to slow down drum and bass, and slow down like jungle, and make it into this like 140 like weird sounding thing.
And then you have all of these other radio stations what pioneer the sound, like Deja, Mode, all of these other underground radio stations.
Underground radio stations, also known as pirate radio stations, were platforms where the likes of grime MCs and more could illegally stream their songs. But why illegally? Why not stream them on licensed radio platforms?
Grime wasn't allowed to be played on mainstream radio.
When grime come around, that's how it first got heard, obviously, on like illegal radio, because the corporations didn't want to play us.
It was too urban, you could say. Grime is only really being accepted in England now.
So what is it like being in the grime scene and capturing epic moments? I went to speak to Olivia Rose, an award-winning photographer and journalist who has been documenting the grime scene for a while, and who also played a part in the This Is Grime book.
Grime, literally as a genre, has the most amazing, complex, interesting people in it. And to be somebody who nobody in the scene knew, to try and make my way into that, for them to be comfortable with me enough that I can sort of go into an event, everyone looks at me, says, "You're right," and ignores me, which is, the perfect position for me as a photographer. I just had to throw myself into it. And I think I didn't really realise that grime is literally for life. Because once you're in, you can't walk away. I went from being somebody that was not in any way a grime head to being able to answer the most bizarre questions on grime.
So what is her take on grime? What are some of the misconceptions she has found while working in the industry?
Grime certainly speaks the most articulately and clearly about one part of modern Britain. There's a lot of social problems that sort of comes along with pressures of life and the kind of hardships of life that I believe have influenced that sound, that music. That wouldn't exist without the hunger that all of these people felt. The grime artists speak about issues that mainstream white Britain can't even hear. What is really painful for me as a white person, especially, and a white person who's involved in the media in various different ways, is how people approach what they're listening to. And it is literally like all they can hear is drive-by, gun, bang. That is all they can hear. Everything else, the message is just completely lost. So I just don't get it. I don't get why people do that. When these guys are carving successful careers for themselves and there's still a kind of question about them. Will they be violent? Will they be this? It doesn't matter. They are the ones who have taken themselves out of those situations to make their music. So let's just give them a break and applaud them for once. That's what this country needs to do.
In 2016, the Brit Awards found themselves at the end of a very controversial Twitter hashtag #BritsSoWhite. This was after the awards platform failed to nominate minority artists. Stormzy, along with many others, took to their platforms to protest.
What? None of my G's nominated for Brits, are you taking a piss? Embarrassing.
As a result, the Brits announced a serious shake-up in their voting academy, promising it would be more diverse. Hattie Collin, a member of the new Voting Brits Academy, shared her take on the controversy.
It's crazy. It is crazy. I thought it was terrible. I don't think it was fixed or that it's rigged, but I think they have a responsibility to have looked at it last year and gone, you know what, we've had like 2 or 3 massive albums or moments from artists and they are not represented.
But it seems grime is becoming more recognized and acknowledged in the music industry after all.
The 2016 Hyundai Mercury Prize to go to Skepta.
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a triumph for him, for the scene. I think it was the right album to win. I think it summed up, you know, it was Skepta's year this year, 2016. And not just in grime, but I think across pop music. Like, I don't know who's had more impact than Skepta on music this year. Like, culturally, musically, you know, politically, a lot of the things that Skepta did, it summed up what Britain is right now. I felt Skepta's really summed it up.
In March of 2017, Stormzy's Gang Signs and Prayer album became the first independent grime album to top the charts.
Aruba, shut up. Shut up. How can you be better than me? Shut up. Shut up. Best in the scene. Tell man, shut up. Couple man call me a backup dancer. On stage at the Brits, I'm a backup dancer. If that makes me a backup dancer.
What do I think about Stormzy's new album? I'm not even going to talk about the music. Let's put the music to one side. So the album is really important because he, as a grime artist, is being tender. He's talking about his mum. He's talking about his African roots. He's talking about God. He's talking about loving his girlfriend. These themes we haven't seen before and still being respected by the baddest of the bad men. Wow.
So what does all this mean for the grime industry in the long run?
Skepta and Stormzy doing what they're doing, it just shines a massive light on everybody else on what we're doing.
It means success. You can actually win from what we're doing, because before it didn't matter how great you was in grime, you wasn't going to get awarded for what you did. I don't think they even saw us as artists back in those days. Now I feel as if Skepta winning, that means that anyone doing this thing can actually win as well.
Now, over the course of my interviews, there's been one common theme that every single person has said. They all describe grime as high energy and contagious. Now, because I'm curious, I've decided to go and experience this myself.
Whoa, my bars are fantastic. When you're on the mic, you sound like a spastic. I was at Ringo, doing bare practice. You was at yours.
I attended a grime set event hosted by Uncle Bance, founder of New Grime Order, at the popular Box Park Shoreditch. It was definitely high energy. With heads bopping, hands waving, and the atmosphere epic, this was quite an experience. I decided to speak to Uncle Bance to get a better idea of what his New Grime Order platform is all about.
New Grime Order, well, it's about what's going on at the moment, like all the MCs doing their thing right now, like that's New Grime Order. Even if you've been doing your thing for a while and I've just spotted you now, like, doesn't matter. Like, age is not a thing, it's all about what's happening now in grime. Like, that's what it is, that's what the new means.
So that's what you created it?
Yeah, it's not about age, anything, it's about like, I want people to see that radio's still getting done and everyone's still doing their thing on radio, trying to push their music through the stations and trying to get on TV, radio, even YouTube. But like, views is a thing that's like right now, so like get their YouTube views.
So where can we see grime headed to in the near future?
I think grime's gonna be sky blown.
It needs to continue to be experimental, it needs to continue to push the boundaries.
Our genre is gonna be well respected.
I think it has potential to go global.
It's already going worldwide. Japanese people, South Korean people are already doing grime, literally.
Especially what Skepta and Stormzy are doing at the moment, getting their names out there.
I hope there's more books, I hope people write more books, I hope people make films.
It can only get bigger in my eyes. I really believe that it can get massive.
I hope the culture just protects itself.
The future looks positive, to be honest. It looks bright.
Continue to work together as a scene, continue to build together as a scene.
It's almost like grime has taken control of itself.
I just hope it retains its spirit and its strength.
The kind of ability to spread the message, the ability to do that without the help of a record label or the press, which I think is really important, is amazing.
I can honestly say I found a new love for grime. The sound, the energy, the culture. Olivia Rose was right. Once you're into grime, there is no turning back.